Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, today we're going to look at fad diets. Yes, fad diets. In English, when something is just a craze or an idea which doesn't last very long, we say, oh, it's just a fad. It means it's just a fashion for a short time. And fad diets come and go very quickly. For example, a fad diet plan would be one that promotes results such as very fast weight loss without any scientific evidence to support what it's saying. Okay, so if they try to sell you something which promises you English in 2 weeks, that would be a fad English plan. So you have fad diets, fad English plans. You even have, I guess, fad habits of people. You know, I'm noticing young people these days who walk around with jeans, but they walk with jeans which are too big for them, and every 2 minutes they have to kind of like pull them up. That would be a fad right now in our society. Another fad these days, I suppose, might be some kinds of video games, although video gaming certainly isn't a fad, it's here to stay. So, getting back to diets, popular fad diets is where you're told that you can't eat anything or there's an unusual combination of foods need to be taken for you to lose weight. Many fad diets will lead to initial weight loss, but this weight loss is often fluid loss, not actually fat. And then after the initial drop of water, these diets don't do anything else because the weight loss stays. And the diet can't usually be followed long term anyway because it's dangerous or just not convenient. I was reading something in the newspaper yesterday which said last year the British Fire Service, you know, the trucks that come and put out fires, they apparently helped the police last year with over 2,000 cases where the people were so overweight that they couldn't move. Now, I've heard of this in America, of course. Americans are known for being grossly overweight, especially, I think, in the 1980s and 90s. There was a time when American TV made shows about them. Well, for example, the Roseanne Barr show was all about a character who was big, you know, and it was to celebrate that it's okay to be big. I think now they have another TV show, I can't remember what it's called, which celebrates and follows the life of grossly overweight people. Now, of course, I'm using the word grossly because I don't find being overweight particularly attractive. But there are people out there, of course, who have maybe medical issues that they can't lose weight. But here in the UK, this seems to be a fad to be very, very big. And yeah, it's very strange, especially when the police have to get involved to move people. I mean, apparently we have people here who don't go out the house because they can't. They're too big to move. And they have someone that comes in every day with a hose and hoses them down in the bath to keep them clean. For me, that doesn't sound like a very good quality of life. On the other hand, there is something which is called body shaming, which is where we laugh at people who are very, very overweight, and we taunt them so that they should be skinny. Well, that, of course, isn't good either. We shouldn't do that. But the UK almost certainly has some kind of weight problem. You know, it's interesting. In my previous jobs, which I've had throughout my life, I've always had bosses who were female with weight issues, and they were always moody, and they were always trying these fad diets, and it was never fun because every week they would come in claiming that they found the final diet that actually works. I remember the boiled egg diet. That wasn't going to work, was it? Another one, I think, a female boss I had came in and told us she was going on the keto diet or the hay diet, all these different types of diets. They're very good for getting rid of fluid. I mean, if you drink 10 glasses of water a day for a couple of weeks, you will lose a lot of fluid from your body, but it's not fat, you know? So it's very, very interesting. Yeah, but I think we've all worked with people who've had weight issues, and that's never fun because they always seem to be carrying with them attitude or issues because of it. Anyway, about fad diets. Uh, Perhaps a fad diet is okay to get rid of a few pounds very quickly if it's only fluid. But the British Medical Association is saying that we should never ever try to stay on them for any long periods of time because you can't lose weight. And another thing about dieting and things like fad diets is that usually there's money involved. So, for example, you send them £50 and they send you a diet sheet or a recipe, or send them more money and they'll actually send you the food for the week that you're allowed. Oh, the one I hate, do you remember that one that came out a few years ago? You're allowed a milkshake in the morning, a milkshake for lunch, and a very small meal in the evening. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, that wouldn't do me at all. I'd be having the two milkshakes with the meal in the evening plus some fish and chips, you know. Yeah, I don't think I would. I mean, if anyone could live on a milkshake for a day, really, in the morning and at lunch, my goodness. Someone told me recently that they've started some kind of intermittent fasting, and that means that they don't eat after 4 p.m. Oh, I don't like that idea. I don't eat anything during the day. Then at 9 o'clock, I have dinner and then I eat everything I can find. I know it's not healthy, but yeah, that's the Mediterranean way. And that's another diet, of course, the Mediterranean diet. But everything tastes nice if you wash it down with a bottle of wine. I think that's the secret of the Mediterranean diet. Just drink loads of wine and it'll be lovely. And then you'll actually want to talk to people. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I don't know which diet is best, and I'm not qualified. So of course, if you have a medical problem or some kind of issue around eating, it's very important that you don't listen to me, that you seek medical advice. But can I just say again, I mean, really, are we really in such a bad situation that the fire service had to help the police 2,000 times to move a grossly overweight person? It just doesn't sound right, does it, in any capacity, whether it's medical or whether it's some kind of addictive eating behavior. As usual, the government respond with saying that they're looking into how to help us eat better. I mean, they don't look at the causes of this. Clearly, when someone has an eating order, it's not because there's too much food available. It's because they have a psychological issue and they want to eat more. I mean, even I can see that. But the government as always treats the symptoms. Oh, well, you know, if we just educate them to eat less. But it's not quite like that. You know, you have to think about it before you do it. So it's their thinking you should be attacking, not their eating habits. if they see themselves as beings that need to fill themselves with sugary foods, it's because they see themselves that way. Not taking away the sugary food isn't going to help. They'll just eat anything else they can find. I remember once I worked in this language school with a lady who is very big. And every time I went for lunch, she kept saying, "Oh, are you going for lunch? Would you pick up a sandwich for me?" And back in those days, of course, we had a very different attitude of overweight people. And my boss told her, "You shouldn't ask other people to get you food. That's why you're so fat. It's because you're not moving. You should go out at lunchtime and get some fresh air and get a walk." Of course, you're not allowed to say these things these days. You can't comment on anyone's weight because you would be called a body shamer. And body shaming, I think, now is on its way to being a criminal act if you mention or comment upon someone's weight. But I mean, what are we supposed to say? You're not fat? Okay, it might be rude anyway to say to someone that they're overweight, but when you're presented with that thing, are you supposed to just ignore it? See, this is where political correctness gets a little bit difficult, because you can't just ignore something like that. And then we also have feeders. There was a documentary about this on TV a few weeks ago. That's someone who likes to feed or enable food for their partners to try to fatten them as a form of control. Maybe because they like large ladies and the ladies like the attention that they're getting. Ha 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 ha, come, we will eat out tonight again. We will have Turkish food. Yeah, so there are people who do that apparently. Um, oh, I'm going to make you some more bread today. Eat all the bread. Ha 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 ha. And the woman, of course, loves the attention, so she eats everything. And then next thing, she's huge. So, yeah, there's all kinds of psychological things at play. But generally, I would say British people are big these days. But to get to a point where you need the fire brigade and the police to help you move, I mean, that just seems dreadful, doesn't it? Uh, um, yeah. Anyway, I don't follow any particular diet. I managed to keep the weight off. I mean, I've started doing my English lessons online, standing up to burn up a few more calories. But if you ever come to the UK, you will notice that the biggest people always seem to have a can of Diet Coke in their hand, and they always look very, very aggressive. So it's tied into something much bigger than just weight. Clearly, there's some kind of behavioral issue there. So for the government just to say, well, we'll just, make sure they pay a sugar tax. Well, what's that going to help? You know? Actually, I went to a local coffee shop recently, bought a bottle of Diet Coca-Cola, and they put a sugar tax on it. I thought Diet Coke didn't even have sugar in it. Yeah, an extra pound they charged me as a sugar tax. I'd never even heard of that before, but this is the government's response. I mean, that's not going to stop me getting bigger, is it? Wow. Anyway, that's enough of my ranting today about fad things and fad diets. So I'm going to end there. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll catch up with you all again soon. See you. Bye.